Welcome to Mindleapic. Here we share gentle, timeless stories from the past to help you unwind and drift into peaceful sleep. If this feels right for your evening, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and pressing the bell icon so you never miss a new bedtime tale. And as we begin tonight, tell me softly in your thoughts, where are you listening from this evening? Settle in now. Let the pillows cradle you. Let the blankets grow a little heavier. Breathe slowly, in and out. The day is done. The world outside can wait. Tonight, we drift together through the quiet streets of 1348, in a small English village where life moves gently, steadily, without hurry. The year is 1348, and the village lies soft beneath a pale autumn sky. Dawn has only just begun to lighten the edges of the thatched roofs, turning them from deep shadow to muted gold. No bells ring sharply. No voices call out in haste. Only the low, steady breathing of the land itself, the faint rustle of leaves still clinging to the oaks, the distant murmur of the stream that winds slow and clear along the edge of the fields. You walk these streets in your mind now, barefoot if you wish, or in soft woolen shoes that make no sound on the packed earth. The path is narrow, worn smooth by generations of quiet footsteps. On either side, low wattle and daub houses stand close together, their walls pale with lime wash that glows faintly in the early light. Each home has a single door of weathered oak, slightly ajar perhaps, letting out the smallest breath of wood smoke and warm bread. The roofs curve gently downward, heavy with straw that has been neatly layered and pinned, golden and thick, keeping the rain away through many seasons. A thin mist lingers low along the ground, softening the outlines of everything. It curls around the bases of the houses, drifts across the small garden plots where kale and leeks stand in orderly rows, their leaves still damp with dew. You pass a chicken coop made of simple hazel twigs woven tight. Inside, a few hens stir gently, fluffing feathers, settling back into their straw nests. Their soft clucking is barely audible, more a vibration than a sound, blending with the slow creak of a distant cart that someone has left by a gate overnight. Further along, the street opens slightly into what might be called the center, though it is modest. No grand square, only a widening of the path where a stone cross stands weathered and calm. Moss has grown quietly over its base, green and velvety. Beside it, a small well has been built of rounded river stones, its wooden bucket resting on the rim, rope coiled neatly. The water below lies still and dark, reflecting nothing yet but the soft gray of the sky. If you pause here, you can hear the tiniest drip from the bucket's edge, falling back into the depths with perfect patience. The air carries the scent of damp earth, of smoke from hearth fires just beginning to wake, of the faint sweetness of drying herbs hung beneath eaves. Sage, thyme, rosemary tied in small bundles, swaying very slightly in the breath of morning. No one hurries past you. A woman in a long woolen kirtle steps out from a doorway, her apron dusted with flour, but she moves without rush, bending slowly to check on a row of cabbages. Her hair is wrapped in a simple linen coif, pale against the darker tones of her gown. She does not look up or speak. She simply continues her quiet task, as though the day itself has all the time in the world. You continue walking, and the path slopes gently downward toward the fields. The houses grow a little farther apart now, giving way to strips of cultivated land divided by low banks of earth. Each strip is long and narrow, turned over many times by wooden plows drawn by patient oxen. The soil is rich and dark, resting after the harvest. Here and there, A few late turnips remain in the ground, their leaves curled softly against the chill. In the distance, a low hill rises, dotted with grazing sheep whose wool is thick and creamy, moving slowly as clouds across the green. The stream runs alongside the path for a while, its surface smooth and unbroken except for the occasional ripple where a leaf falls. Willow branches trail in the water, swaying in lazy rhythm. Along the bank, rushes stand tall and straight, their tips heavy with seed heads that nod in the lightest breeze. The sound of the water is constant but never loud, a gentle, endless murmur that wraps around your thoughts and carries them downstream, away into stillness. As you drift farther, the village seems to breathe with you. The morning light strengthens very slowly, touching the edges of rooftops, warming the stones of the well, finding its way through cracks in wooden shutters to lie in soft bars, across rush-strewn floors inside the homes. No one rushes to begin the day. The routines are simple, unchanging, comforting in their repetition. Bread will be needed later. Water will be drawn. Fires will be fed with small, careful additions of wood. Everything happens in its own time, without force, without strain. You feel the earth steady beneath your steps. The air is cool against your skin, but not sharp. The mist begins to lift, thread by thread, revealing more of the quiet landscape. And still you walk, slowly, letting each detail settle into you, like dust settling after a long day. The texture of the path, the faint scent of the herbs, the patient rhythm of the stream. There is nothing to hurry toward. There is only this moment, this village, this gentle unfolding of an ordinary morning in 1348. The light grows a little brighter. Somewhere, a single bird begins a soft, unhurried song. You breathe in and out and let the quiet carry you onward. The path continues its gentle descent, carrying you farther from the clustered homes and deeper into the open rhythm of the fields. The mist has thinned now to little more than a soft veil that clings to the lowest places, curling lazily around the bases of the hedgerows. These hedges are old, hawthorn and blackthorn woven together over many years, their branches thick and intertwined, trimmed low so that sheep may graze beneath without straying too far. The leaves are mostly gone this late in the season, leaving a lattice of bare twigs that filters the pale sunlight into tiny, shifting patterns on the ground. You walk without purpose, without destination. Each step sinks slightly into the damp earth, soft and forgiving. The soil here is loamy, dark with the memory of summer crops, resting now until spring brings the oxen and the plow once more. Along the edges of the strips, small ditches carry away the excess water from last night's gentle rain. The water moves so slowly it seems almost still, reflecting fragments of sky and the occasional drifting leaf. In the distance, a low barn stands alone, its walls of wattle and daub the same pale color as the houses, its roof a deep, even thatch sloping gently to keep the weight of winter snows from pressing too hard. The doors are wide open, though no one is visible inside. From this far away you can smell the faint, warm scent of hay, dried grasses cut months ago, stacked high in careful layers, waiting patiently for the colder months ahead. The smell drifts to you on the lightest breeze, steady and comforting, the same scent that has filled barns in this valley for generations. A few sheep move slowly across one of the farther fields, their heavy fleeces making them appear almost round against the green. They do not run or scatter. They lower their heads to the short grass, nibble a little, take a few slow steps, then lower their heads again. Their breathing is visible in small clouds that rise and fade quickly in the cool air. One ewe pauses, lifts her head, looks toward you for a long, unhurried moment, then returns to her grazing as though nothing at all has changed. The quiet chewing of their jaws becomes part of the background, a soft, rhythmic sound that blends with the distant murmur of the stream and the occasional rustle of wind through the willows. Closer now, a single apple tree stands at the corner of two field strips, its branches spreading wide and low. Most of the fruit has long been gathered, carefully picked by hand, carried in baskets to cellars, or dried in thin slices hung beneath the eaves. But a few small, late apples still cling stubbornly to the outer twigs. They are small, green gold, untouched by frost yet, their skins faintly waxy in the morning light. If you were to reach up, one might come away easily into your palm, cool and smooth, carrying the faint, sweet promise of the orchard it came from. But there is no need to reach. You simply notice them. Let your gaze rest there. Let the sight settle quietly into your mind. The path turns slightly, following the curve of the stream. Here the water runs a little deeper, over smooth pebbles worn round by countless seasons. Small fish, minnows perhaps, dart in lazy flashes beneath the surface, then settle again into stillness. The banks are lined with soft green moss that grows thick and velvety, cushioning the roots of the willows that lean out over the water. Their long branches trail like pale curtains, moving only when the breeze remembers to stir them. You pass a low stone wall no higher than your waist, built long ago from field stones gathered when the land was first cleared. The stones are lichen-covered, pale gray and sage green, fitted together without mortar, held in place by their own careful balance. In places, small ferns have found homes in the crevices, their fronds soft and delicate, swaying very slightly. The wall divides nothing urgently. It simply marks the gentle boundary between one man's strip and the next, a quiet agreement honored year after year. Beyond the wall, a woman in a faded russet gown kneels beside a row of cabbages. Her movements are slow, deliberate. She pulls a single weed, shakes the earth gently from its roots, lays it aside in a neat pile, then another. The pile grows slowly, methodically. Her breath is even, visible in faint wisps that drift upward and disappear. She does not look toward the path, does not notice you drifting past. She simply continues, her hands steady in the dark soil, the same motion repeated with the same calm patience. The cabbages themselves are round and firm, their outer leaves a deep green, slightly crinkled, holding droplets of dew that catch the light like tiny beads. The sun climbs higher, but only just. Its warmth is gentle, barely enough to dry the dew from the grass. Shadows lengthen slowly across the fields, soft-edged and blue-gray. Everything seems to pause here, in this hour between true morning and midday, when the world has not yet fully woken, and yet is no longer asleep. The village behind you feels farther away now, though you could still walk back in moments if you chose. But there is no reason to turn. The path ahead is the same, quiet even, inviting you to keep drifting. A faint sound reaches you, the slow creak of a wooden gate being opened, then closed again with a soft thud. Somewhere, a dog barks once, low, unhurried, then falls silent. The sheep continue their slow grazing. The stream continues its endless, gentle murmuring, and you continue walking, letting each detail wrap around you like a blanket. The smell of wet earth, the faint sweetness of apples still on the tree, the patient rhythm of the woman tending her row. Nothing changes quickly. Nothing demands your attention. The morning simply unfolds, slow and steady, carrying you deeper into its calm. Your breathing matches the slowness now. Long, even inhales through the cool air. Long, even exhales that carry the last traces of the day away. The path stretches on. The fields lie open and peaceful. And still you drift, letting the quiet of 1348 hold you gently, moment by moment, breath by breath. The path levels out now, running parallel to the stream for a longer stretch. The water has grown quieter here, its surface almost glassy except where the occasional fallen leaf drifts along, turning very slowly in the current. The sound is softer than before, a low, continuous sigh rather than a murmur, as though the stream itself has decided to speak, more gently, more slowly, matching the heavy calm that settles over the afternoon. On your left, the fields give way gradually to a small orchard. The trees stand in neat, widely spaced rows, their trunks wrapped in pale lichen, their branches spreading low and rounded from years of careful pruning. Most are apple trees, though a few pear and plum stand among them, bare now except for the last, stubborn leaves that flutter down one by one when the breeze remembers to touch them. Beneath the trees, the grass grows longer, untouched since the final gathering of fruit. Fallen apples lie here and there, half hidden in the damp green, their skins softened by time and rain, releasing a faint, sweet fermentation into the air that drifts toward you in slow waves. You pass between two of the rows, the ground beneath your feet cushioned by years of dropped leaves and windfall. The earth is springy, forgiving. No sharp stones press up through the soil here. Everything has been softened by time and the patient tread of feet that have walked this same path in autumn after autumn. The light filters through the branches in pale, shifting pools that move across the ground without hurry, warming small patches of grass for a moment before sliding onward. Further along, a low wattle fence marks the far edge of the orchard. It is simple. Hazel poles driven into the earth at intervals, thinner branches woven between them in a loose, open pattern. The fence has settled slightly over the years, leaning here and there, but never enough to matter. Ivy has begun to climb in places, its dark green leaves glossy even in the weak light, clinging patiently to the wood. A single gate stands halfway along, made of the same hazel, latched with a loop of twine. The gate is ajar, just enough that a person might pass through without needing to lift the latch. It sways the tiniest amount when the breeze finds it, then returns to stillness. Beyond the fence lies a narrow meadow, the grass tall and pale gold now that the growing season has ended. In summer this would have been bright with wildflowers, daisies, clover, vetch, but now it is a soft, even sea of seed heads that nod together whenever the air moves. A few late butterflies drift above the grass, their wings slow and deliberate, pale yellow and soft brown, landing for long moments before lifting again without urgency. Their flight seems almost suspended, as though time itself has thickened around them. In the center of the meadow stands a single ancient oak. Its trunk is wide, gnarled, the bark deeply furrowed and gray-green with lichen. The lowest branches sweep outward and downward, nearly touching the ground, creating a natural shelter beneath. Beneath the tree the grass grows shorter, worn by the occasional resting sheep or by children who once played here in gentler seasons. A small hollow has formed in the roots over decades, lined now with dry leaves and the faint imprint of bodies that have lain there to rest. The tree itself seems to breathe, slow, deep, unhurried, its few remaining leaves rustling faintly high above. a sound so soft it might be mistaken for distant water. You drift closer, drawn without effort. The air beneath the oak feels different. Cooler, stiller, scented with the clean, woody smell of old bark and earth that has lain undisturbed for a very long time. If you were to sit here, the ground would welcome you. The roots would cradle your weight. The trunk would offer its broad, steady back. Nothing would ask anything of you. The meadow would continue its slow swaying. The butterflies would continue their lazy circling. The stream, farther off now, would carry on its endless, gentle sighing. From this quiet place the village feels very distant, though it is only a short walk back along the same path. The rooftops are hidden behind the gentle rise of the land. Only the soft column of smoke from a hearth or two rises above the trees, pale gray against the paler sky, drifting sideways before thinning into nothing. No voices carry this far. No footsteps hurry. Only the patient sounds remain. The rustle of grass, the occasional soft thud of an apple falling somewhere in the orchard, the slow creak of branches moving together high in the oak. The light has changed again, growing softer, more golden as the afternoon deepens without haste. Shadows stretch longer across the meadow, cool and blue at the edges, warm where they touch the grass. The air cools very gradually against your skin. Your eyelids grow heavier, not from tiredness exactly, but from the simple weight of calm that has settled over everything. Each breath comes slower now, deeper, as though your body has learned the rhythm of the land itself. Somewhere nearby, a single blackbird calls once. A low, liquid note that hangs in the air for a moment before fading. Then silence returns, thicker, more comforting. The oak stands steady above you. The meadow breathes around you, and still you drift, letting the quiet afternoon of 1348 wrap itself more closely, more gently, carrying every last trace of wakefulness away on the slowest of breezes. The afternoon has deepened now, the light turning the color of old honey, warm but no longer bright. Beneath the great oak you rest without quite sitting, letting your back find the rough, steady curve of the trunk. The bark presses gently through whatever cloth you imagine wearing. Linen tunic, woolen cloak, its texture familiar, unchanging, like the hand of an old friend placed quietly on your shoulder. The roots beneath spread wide and low, cradling the earth, cradling you. No sharp edges meet your weight, only soft hollows lined with decades of fallen leaves, dry now and faintly crisp, shifting the smallest amount when you breathe. High above, the last few leaves of the oak move in the slowest possible rhythm. They turn one by one, catch the light, release it again. Each motion so measured it seems the tree itself is dreaming. The sound they make is barely a whisper, a soft, papery sigh that drifts downward and settles around you like fine dust. Farther out in the meadow, the tall grasses continue their patient nodding, wave after wave after wave, never hurried, never still. The seed heads catch the late sun and glow for a moment, pale gold against the deeper gold of the field, then fade back into shadow as a cloud passes high and thin overhead. Somewhere near the stream, a heron stands motionless on one long leg. You do not see him clearly from here, only the pale shape of him against the darker water, folded into himself, waiting. He has stood like this for a long time already, and will stand longer still. The water flows past his feet without disturbing him. A leaf floats by. He does not turn his head. Patience is his nature, as it is the nature of the stream, the meadow, the oak. Nothing rushes. Nothing needs to. The air has grown cooler beneath the tree, but the coolness comes slowly, wrapping itself around your arms, your neck, your face like a second, lighter blanket. Your breath clouds faintly now when you exhale, small white shapes that linger for a heartbeat before dissolving back into the stillness. Each inhale draws in the clean scent of moss, of old wood, of earth that has rested undisturbed. Each exhale carries away the last faint threads of tension you did not even know you carried. The rhythm is perfect, unforced, in and out, slower, deeper, matching the long, slow pulse you imagine beating beneath the bark at your back. A single acorn falls somewhere in the branches above. It strikes a twig, then another, then drops softly into the leaf litter with the quietest of thuds. The sound is small, almost lost, yet clear in the surrounding hush. Another follows a long moment later, then nothing. The tree gives what it gives without hurry. Acorns, one by one, leaves one by one, shade without measure. You listen to the quiet spaces between each small sound, and the spaces seem to grow wider, deeper, inviting your thoughts to stretch and thin until they too become part of the stillness. From this sheltered place, the rest of the village remains only a gentle memory behind the rise of the land. The smoke from hearth fires has thickened slightly as the day cools, rising in slow, pale columns that bend sideways before fading. No voices reach you here. No footsteps hurry along the paths. Only the meadow breathes around you, the grasses swaying, the butterflies, fewer now, drifting lower toward the earth, as though preparing to fold their wings for the evening. A soft breeze finds its way beneath the oak, stirring the leaves at your feet into the faintest rustle. The sound circles once, twice, then fades. Your eyelids grow heavier still, not from effort, but from the simple permission the afternoon gives to close them, to let the world narrow to the feel of bark against your back, the cool air on your face, the slow rise and fall of your own chest. There is no need to keep watching. The heron will stand, the grasses will sway, the acorns will fall when they are ready. Everything continues without your gaze. The light softens further, the honey color giving way to something quieter, more silvered. Shadows lengthen across the meadow until they touch the lowest branches of the oak and rest there. The temperature drops another small degree, just enough to make the wool of an imagined cloak feel warmer, heavier, more comforting. Your hands rest loosely in your lap or along the roots beside you. Open, still, receiving nothing and needing nothing. Another breath, slower now, longer, the pause between inhale and exhale, stretching like the shadows themselves. The oak holds you steady. The meadow holds its quiet rhythm, and the afternoon of 1348 drifts on, unhurried, unworried, carrying you deeper into its calm with every slow, even breath you take. The light beneath the oak has softened into something almost silvery now, the golden warmth of earlier hours giving way to the cooler, quieter tones that come before evening arrives in earnest. Shadows pool deeper around the roots, stretching long fingers across the meadow grass until they touch the far hedgerow and rest there. The air holds a gentle chill that settles slowly against your skin, not sharp enough to startle, only deep enough to make you notice the soft weight of whatever cloak or shawl you imagine, drawn close around your shoulders. The fabric, perhaps heavy wool dyed the muted color of oak. Bark feels warmer where it touches you, cooler where it hangs free, creating a small, comforting contrast with every slow breath. High in the branches, a single leaf detaches itself without drama. It turns once, twice, drifts downward in lazy spirals that seem to pause mid-air before continuing. When it finally reaches the ground, it lands without sound, settling among its fellows in the leaf litter. Another follows a long minute later. Then stillness returns. The tree gives up its leaves the way it gives everything else. One by one, patiently, without haste or regret, you listen to the quiet spaces between each fall, and those spaces seem to widen, inviting your own thoughts to slow until they match the same unhurried rhythm. Out in the meadow, the grasses have begun to still. The breeze that moved them earlier has faded to almost nothing, leaving the seed heads bowed but motionless, as though the field itself has decided to pause and breathe more deeply. The butterflies have disappeared entirely now, folded away somewhere among the stems or beneath curled leaves, waiting for tomorrow's sun. A single field mouse appears briefly at the edge of the grass, its movements small and careful. It pauses, whiskers trembling the tiniest amount, then darts forward a few steps before vanishing again into the pale gold stems. The sighting is fleeting, gentle. No chase, no fear, only a quiet moment shared between creature and landscape before both return to their separate stillness. Closer to the stream, the heron has not moved. He remains balanced on one slender leg, the other folded neatly against his body, neck curved into a perfect S. His gray-blue feathers blend so completely with the fading light and the color of the water that he seems almost part of the scene rather than within it. The stream flows past him without hurry, its surface reflecting the pale sky in long, unbroken bands. A small ripple appears now and then, perhaps a pebble settling deeper, perhaps a leaf completing its journey. But the heron pays it no mind. His patience is absolute, ancient, woven into the very shape of the afternoon. Beneath the oak, the temperature continues its slow descent. Each degree arrives so gradually, you feel it more as a deepening of calm than as cold. Your hands rest loosely in the folds of your cloak or along the smooth curve of a root. The skin there grows cooler on the surface while warmth lingers deeper, held by the slow circulation of blood that matches the slow pulse you sense in the tree itself. Your breathing has lengthened further. Still, inhale, stretching to fill every corner of your chest. Pause, growing longer and softer. Exhale, releasing in a quiet stream that clouds faintly before drifting upward to join the silvered air. From this sheltered hollow, the village remains, only the faintest suggestion beyond the rise. A single thread of smoke rises straight now that the breeze has died, pale against the deepening sky, thinning to nothing long before it reaches the first faint stars. No sound carries across the fields. No cartwheels, no voices, no closing of doors. Only the stream keeps its low, continuous sigh. So familiar now it has become part of the silence rather than separate from it. Another leaf falls. It drifts past your face close enough that you feel the smallest stir of air against your cheek, then settles without a whisper. Your eyelids grow heavier with each breath. The weight pleasant. Welcome. There is no effort in letting them drift lower. The world narrows gently to the feel of bark at your back, the cool air touching your forehead, the slow rise of your chest, the slower fall. Nothing needs to be seen. Nothing needs to be done. The oak stands guardian above you. The meadow lies quiet around you. The heron waits without impatience. A final breath comes even slower, deeper, the pause between inhale and exhale, stretching until it feels almost endless. The silver light fades thread by thread. Shadows merge until the edges of things soften completely. And still the afternoon of 1348 holds you, steady, wordless, infinitely patient, guiding you with the gentlest touch deeper into rest, deeper into the calm that has no beginning and no end, only this moment folding quietly into the next. Evening begins its slow approach now, not as a sudden arrival, but as a gentle deepening of the light already present. Beneath the oak, the silver has given way to the softest shades of lavender and pale gray, colors that seem to rise up from the earth itself rather than fall from the sky. The air carries a new coolness, steady and even, the kind that makes every breath feel cleaner, clearer, slower. Your cloak, or the woolen mantle, your mind has wrapped around you, settles more closely against your shoulders, its weight familiar, grounding, as though it has always been there waiting for this exact moment. The meadow grasses stand perfectly still. No breeze moves them now. The seed heads hold their bowed positions, patient statues in the fading day. Dew has begun to gather again, tiny beads forming along the edges of each blade, catching what little light remains and holding it for a breath before letting it go. The field appears silvered at its tips, a quiet shimmer that spreads gradually outward until the entire meadow seems wrapped in the same delicate veil. The heron has shifted his stance by the smallest degree, one leg lowered, the other lifted in its place, with such slowness that the motion feels like part of the landscape, settling rather than any deliberate act. He faces upstream now, beak pointed toward the gentle curve where the water disappears behind willows. His reflection lies long and perfect on the glassy surface below him, unmoving even when a single leaf drifts past and brushes the edge of his shadow. The stream itself has grown quieter still, its sigh reduced to the softest possible whisper, a sound you feel more than hear, vibrating faintly through the ground beneath you. Leaves continue their unhurried descent from the oak. One detaches high above, turns once in the still air, then falls in a straight, dreamlike line until it rests on the wool over your knee. Its edges are faintly curled from days of dry wind, its color a muted bronze that glows dimly against the darker fabric. You do not brush it away. You let it remain. Let its small weight become part of the calm accumulating around you. Another falls sometime later. Minutes, perhaps longer, landing soundlessly among the others already, gathered at the base of the trunk. The leaf litter thickens imperceptibly, layer upon layer of quiet addition. Your breathing has found its deepest rhythm yet. Each inhale draws the cool evening air in through your nose, filling your lungs slowly, completely, until there is no more room, and the pause arrives naturally, softly. The pause lasts 3 heartbeats, 4, 5, before the exhale begins, warm air leaving you in a long, silent stream that clouds briefly in the chill and then vanishes. With every cycle, the spaces between grow longer, the transitions smoother, until the line between breathing in and breathing out blurs into one continuous, gentle tide. From your place beneath the tree, the village is no longer even a suggestion of smoke or rooftops. The land has risen just enough to hide it completely, leaving only the wide meadow, the still stream, the ancient oak, and the slow-coming night. No lantern has yet been lit along the paths you walked earlier. No candle glows behind shuttered windows. The people of 1348 move through their evening routines without haste, closing a door with a soft latch, feeding a final small stick to the hearth fire, drawing a blanket higher over sleeping children. But none of it reaches here. The silence belongs entirely to the field and the tree and the water. A single star appears above the highest branches, faint at first, then clearer as the sky darkens around it. It does not twinkle sharply, It simply is, steady, small, patient. Another follows after a long while, then a third, each one emerging as though waking from the same long rest you feel, settling into your own body. The stars do not demand attention. They simply wait, offering their quiet light without expectation. Your hands rest open now, one palm against the cool bark, the other along a root that curves like an arm around you. The texture of the tree beneath your fingertips is rough yet comforting, its ridges and hollows worn smooth in places by centuries of weather and touch. You trace one shallow groove without thought, following its slow path upward until your arm grows heavy and returns to rest. The motion requires no effort. It simply happens, then stops, then happens again much later, or perhaps not at all. The chill deepens by another small degree. It touches the tips of your ears, the bridge of your nose, yet never becomes uncomfortable. Instead, it invites the body to draw inward, to gather warmth at the center, to let the outer edges grow soft and heavy. Your eyelids have drifted almost closed now, the world reduced to thin crescents of silver meadow and darker oak. What little you see blurs at the edges, softens further with each slow blink, until even that narrow view feels distant, dreamlike. Another leaf falls. It brushes your cheek this time, cool, dry, fleeting, then settles somewhere near your shoulder. You do not move to touch it. There is no need. Everything arrives and departs in its own time here. The starlight grows a fraction brighter. The stream whispers on. Your next breath comes even more slowly, deeper still. The pause, stretching until it feels like the most natural place to remain. And so, the evening of 1348 continues its gentle unfolding. Leaf by leaf, star by star, breath by breath, holding you exactly where you are, exactly as you are, deeper now, quieter now, safer now, in the calm that has no edges and no end. Night has arrived now, not with sudden darkness, but with the same patient unfolding that has carried the entire day. Beneath the oak, the world has narrowed to shades of deepest indigo and soft charcoal. The sky above the branches holds no sharp edges, only a velvet expanse where stars appear one by one, each small point of light steady and unblinking, as though they too have settled in for a long, quiet watch. The first faint glow of the crescent moon rises low over the far hedgerow, its silver curve thin and delicate, casting the gentlest possible sheen across the meadow tips. The dew has thickened. Every blade of grass now carries its own tiny weight of water, bending them just enough that the field seems to bow its head in quiet reverence. The droplets catch the moonlight and hold it. Small, perfect mirrors reflecting fragments of sky, then release it again as the faintest shimmer. When your gaze moves on, the air feels heavier with moisture, cooler still, yet never cold enough to cause discomfort. It settles on your skin like the lightest silk veil, cool where it touches, warm where your own warmth meets it. Your back remains against the oak, the bark no longer rough but simply present, solid, eternal, holding you without effort. The tree's slow breathing seems almost audible now in the stillness, a deep, soundless rise and fall that travels through the trunk, through the roots, through the ground, into your own body. Your heartbeat has found the same rhythm, slow, even, unhurried. Each pulse stretching longer than the one before, until the spaces between beats feel as wide and peaceful as the spaces between stars. The stream has become little more than a murmur now, so soft it blends completely into the night. You sense its presence more than hear it. A gentle, continuous movement somewhere beyond the edge of hearing, carrying away whatever small thoughts might have lingered earlier. The heron has gone, folded his long wings sometime in the last quiet hour, and lifted away on silent flight, leaving only the memory of his patient silhouette against the water. Nothing has taken his place. The bank lies empty, the pebbles smooth and dark, the willows hanging motionless as though asleep on their feet. Leaves no longer fall. The oak has given what it would give for this day. The remaining ones cling silently to their twigs, waiting for their own moment in some future dawn. The leaf litter around you lies thick and undisturbed, a soft cushion that cradles every small shift of weight. One leaf rests against your wrist, where your hand lies open along the root, its edges faintly curled, its surface cool and dry. You feel its presence without needing to look. It simply is there, part of the quiet accumulation of the night. Your breathing has grown so slow it seems almost suspended. Inhale arrives like a distant tide, long, effortless, filling you completely without hurry. The pause follows, stretching wide and deep, a still pool where nothing moves. Exhale drifts out even more gradually, warm against the cool night air, visible for the briefest instant as pale mist before it merges with the darkness. With each cycle, the body grows heavier, softer, more deeply settled. Shoulders release another fraction. Jaw softens. Fingers loosen completely. The cloak, or whatever warm layer wraps you, feels heavier now, more comforting, as though it has absorbed the calm of the meadow and returns it to you fold by fold. Above, the crescent moon climbs a little higher. Its light touches the uppermost branches of the oak, tracing faint silver lines along the bark, then slips lower to rest on the meadow in long, pale pools. The grass seems to breathe in the glow, each blade lifting the smallest amount, holding the light, then letting it go again. Stars multiply slowly across the vault, not in a rush of sparkling, but in quiet emergence, one after another, until the sky feels gently crowded with their steady presence. No sound disturbs the hush, no owl calls, no night creature stirs the grass. The village, hidden beyond the gentle rise, sleeps without murmur. Fires banked low to embers, shutters closed against the chill, blankets drawn high, breaths rising and falling in the same slow tide that moves through you now. The entire world of 1348 has entered this same deep rest. Field and stream and tree and home, all aligned in one long, unbroken quiet. Your eyelids have closed completely some time ago. What little light remained has faded from behind them into soft, even darkness. Images drift past like leaves on still water. The curve of the stream, the bowed grasses, the patient oak, each one appearing without effort, lingering without demand, then slipping away into the same velvet black. No thought attaches to them. They simply pass, slower and slower, until even the drifting slows to stillness. Another breath arrives, deeper, longer, softer. The pause lengthens until it feels like the most natural place to remain. Warmth gathers at your center, spreading outward in slow waves that reach your hands, your feet, your face. The night holds you exactly as the oak holds the meadow, exactly as the meadow holds the dew, exactly as the stars hold their light, without question, without end. And so the night of 1348 continues, breath by breath, star by star, silence by silence, wrapping you more closely, more gently, guiding you with infinite patience into the deepest layers of rest. The night has deepened further, the crescent moon now higher, its thin silver arc casting longer, softer shadows across the meadow. Beneath the oak, the darkness feels complete, yet gentle, thick velvet that wraps, rather than presses, cool and quiet against every inch of exposed skin. The air holds the scent of night itself. Damp grass, faint moss from the tree's roots, the clean, almost sweet trace of dew settling layer upon layer. No wind moves. The leaves overhead remain perfectly still, as though the entire oak has drawn a long, slow breath and chosen to hold it through the darkest hours. Your body has sunk deeper into the hollow between roots, the ground beneath you, no longer simply earth but a soft, living mattress of accumulated leaves and moss, supports every curve and angle without effort. Shoulders rest fully back against the bark. Spine follows the gentle curve of the trunk. Legs stretch long and loose along one wide root that rises, like a low bench worn smooth by time. The wool of your cloak has grown heavier with the night's moisture, clinging softly where it touches, releasing small pockets of stored warmth each time you shift the tiniest amount. Warmth gathers low in your center now, spreading outward in lazy waves that reach fingertips and toes without hurry, then retreat again, leaving behind a pleasant heaviness. Breathing has become something almost separate from conscious will. Each inhale arrives on its own. Slow, deep, through slightly parted lips now, drawing in the cool, moist air until lungs feel full to brimming. The pause follows naturally, stretching wider with every cycle, a still space where heartbeat alone is audible. Low, steady, distant, like the slow drum of the earth itself beneath layers of soil and root. Exhale drifts out even more gradually, warm mist curling upward in the chill, visible for a heartbeat, in faint silver before it merges with the night and disappears. The rhythm lengthens further still. Perhaps 10 seconds for the full cycle now, perhaps more. Each phase so smooth the transitions vanish entirely. You are simply breathing, or rather, being breathed, by the same patient tide that moves the dew across the grass blades. Above, the stars have multiplied into a quiet multitude. They do not dazzle. They simply exist, small, steady points of pale light scattered across the indigo vault, each one holding its place without flicker or hurry. The crescent moon has climbed enough that its light now touches the uppermost twigs of the oak, tracing faint outlines along the bark in thin, luminous lines that fade before they reach the lower branches. The meadow lies bathed in this gentle glow. Grass tips silvered, seed heads gleaming softly, the entire field appearing to breathe, in slow unison with the rise and fall of your own chest. No sound breaks the hush. The stream's whisper has faded to nothing audible at all. Only the memory of it remains, a faint vibration somewhere deep in the ground. No nightbird calls. No small creature rustles through the undergrowth. The village sleeps on beyond the rise. Fires, long since, banked to the faintest red glow beneath ash. Doors latched with wooden pegs. Sleepers wrapped in heavy wool blankets, their breaths rising and falling in the same unhurried pattern that moves through you now. The entire landscape of 1348 has entered the same profound rest. Field, tree, water, home, sky, all aligned in one vast, wordless quiet. Your eyelids remain closed, the darkness behind them even and complete. Occasional images drift past like slow clouds across an inner sky, the curve of a willow branch trailing in still water, the bowed shape of meadow grass under dew, the rough yet comforting texture of oak bark beneath open palms. Each picture appears without invitation, lingers without clinging, then dissolves softly into the same velvet black. No thought follows them. No story builds around them. They simply pass, slower with each appearance, until even the drifting slows toward a complete stillness. The chill has settled fully now, cool against cheeks and forehead, yet the body's own warmth holds steady at the core. Deep, quiet, sufficient. Fingers lie open and slack along the roots. No tension remains in them. Jaw rests loose. Neck softens completely. Every small muscle that once held even the faintest grip has released, layer by layer, until nothing supports anything anymore except the earth itself and the ancient tree at your back. Another long breath arrives, deeper than any before, slower, softer. The pause stretches until time itself seems to pause with it. Warmth pulses once, gently, from center to edges and back again. The stars continue their silent watch. The moon traces its patient arc. The meadow holds its silvered stillness, and the night of 1348 enfolds you more completely. Breath after breath after breath, guiding you with the tenderest touch deeper into rest, deeper into silence, deeper into the calm that asks nothing, needs nothing, and simply is. The deepest hour of the night has settled in now, the time when even the stars seem to breathe more slowly. Beneath the oak, the darkness is absolute yet kind, thick, enveloping, without a trace of sharpness or unease. The crescent moon has crossed much of its quiet arc, and now rests low again, its silver light thinned to the faintest shimmer along the distant hedgerow. Too weak to reach the meadow any more. Only starlight remains, pale and scattered, filtering through the bare branches in tiny, steady pinpricks that touch the ground here and there without warming it. Your body has become one with the hollow between the roots. The leaf litter beneath you feels thicker, softer, a natural bed formed over seasons and undisturbed tonight. Every small place where bone or muscle once pressed has found its perfect hollow. The earth has molded itself upward to meet you exactly as you are. The oak at your back no longer feels separate. Its slow, deep pulse moves through bark and spine together, a single, endless rhythm that requires no thought to follow. Warmth pools quietly at your core, steady and low, spreading just far enough to keep fingers and toes from feeling the chill, then retreating again to rest in the center. The heavy wool cloak lies across you like another layer of night itself, damp, with dew now, yet holding heat close where it matters most. Breathing has reached its slowest possible cadence. Inhale arrives after a long stillness, soft, through the nose or parted lips, drawing cool night air in tiny sips that fill the lungs without hurry. The pause that follows stretches wide and deep, perhaps 12 heartbeats, perhaps more. Time has softened here, lost its edges. Exhale begins only when it must. Longer still, warmer, a faint mist that curls upward and vanishes instantly into the velvet dark. Each full cycle feels like drifting farther from shore, the spaces between growing wider, the transitions smoother, until inhale and exhale blend into one continuous, gentle wave that carries you without effort. The meadow lies perfectly motionless. Grass blades, heavy with accumulated dew, bow low and stay bowed. No ripple disturbs the surface of the stream. Its water has become a dark mirror reflecting only the faintest scatter of stars. No creature moves, no leaf stirs. The silence is so complete it feels like a presence rather than an absence. Thick, comforting, wrapping every sound that once existed and holding it safely away until morning. Behind closed eyelids, the inner darkness matches the outer one. Exactly. Soft black without shape or border. Occasional wisps drift across it. The memory of a willow trailing in still water. The curve of a meadow under moonlight. The rough texture of bark beneath open palms. These fragments appear more slowly now, linger shorter moments, then melt away without trace. No new images arrive to replace them. The mind has grown quiet, spacious, empty in the gentlest way. Room after room of stillness opening inward, each one darker, calmer, safer than the last. The chill of the night air touches forehead, cheeks, the tips of ears, yet never crosses into discomfort. Instead, it invites the body to draw even deeper inward, to gather what warmth remains at the very center, and let the outer layers grow heavy, loose, forgotten. Shoulders have long since released their last faint tension. Jaw hangs slack. Hands lie open, one palm upward along a root, the other resting loosely in the folds of wool. Fingers slack, uncurled, receiving nothing and holding nothing. Every small joint has softened completely. Every muscle has surrendered its quiet grip. A single star seems brighter for a moment, high above the oak. Perhaps Vega, perhaps another, its light steady, unchanging, a small anchor in the vast quiet above. It does not call attention to itself. It simply remains, watching without expectation, offering its pale glow to the night and to you equally. Another breath comes, deeper, slower, softer than any before. The pause lengthens until it feels endless, natural, home. Warmth pulses once from the center, faint and slow, reaching outward, then returning. The stars hold their places. The meadow holds its due. The oak holds you. And the deepest night of 1348 continues. Breath by slower breath, silence by deeper silence, enfolding you more completely, guiding you with infinite tenderness into layers of rest so profound that even the concept of drifting fades away, leaving only this gentle, endless calm. The night reaches its quietest depth now, the hour when even the stars seem to dim their own light slightly, as though respecting the profound rest that blankets the land. Beneath the oak, nothing moves. The darkness has become so complete it feels like a soft, endless sea, cool, weightless, cradling every part of you without the slightest pressure. The crescent moon has slipped below the far horizon. Only the faintest scatter of starlight remains, too weak to outline branches or blades of grass, leaving the meadow and the tree wrapped in uniform velvet black. Your body has long since melted into the earth and the roots, what was once separate, back against bark, legs along curving wood, hands resting open, has blurred into one continuous form held gently by the night. The leaf litter beneath you feels deeper still, as though more leaves have drifted down in silence while you rested, adding layer after layer of soft insulation, until the ground itself seems to rise, up to meet and support you perfectly. The heavy wool of your cloak lies damp and cool against your skin, yet the warmth it holds at your center radiates outward in the slowest possible pulses, enough to keep the chill at bay without ever becoming noticeable effort. Breathing exists now only as the faintest suggestion of movement. Inhale arrives after what might be minutes of stillness. Tiny, shallow, almost imperceptible, drawing in the moist night air through parted lips that barely move. The lungs fill by the smallest degree, then hold. The pause stretches far beyond counting. 20 heartbeats. 30. More. becoming not a pause at all but a natural state of quiet suspension. Exhale, when it finally comes, is even fainter. A warm sigh so soft it makes no mist, no sound, simply releasing into the darkness and dissolving without trace. The rhythm has grown so slow that each full cycle feels like one long, gentle undulation of the entire night itself, carrying you deeper without ever seeming to move. No images drift behind closed eyelids anymore. The inner darkness matches the outer one exactly. Pure, unbroken black without shape, without border, without memory. Thoughts, if any remain, have thinned to the consistency of mist. Colorless, weightless, drifting apart until nothing holds them together. The mind has become spacious, empty in the most peaceful way. Room after endless room of silence opening inward, each one quieter and safer than the last, until even the idea of empty fades away. The chill of the deepest night touches every exposed surface. Forehead, cheeks, the backs of hands, yet the sensation registers only as a soft coolness, never sharp, never unwelcome. It invites the body to withdraw even further inward, to let the outer layers grow perfectly still while the core warmth rests low and steady, like a single ember banked beneath ash, glowing without flame. Shoulders have no tension left to release. Jaw rests completely slack. Fingers lie motionless, open, forgotten. Every small part of you has surrendered so fully that nothing remains to hold or be held. The oak itself seems to breathe with you now, or perhaps you breathe with it. Its ancient pulse moves through the trunk in waves too slow to measure, a faint expansion, a faint contraction, traveling down through roots into the earth, then upward again in endless, wordless cycles. You feel it not as something separate, but as your own heartbeat stretched across. Centuries, low, steady, eternal. No sound exists anywhere. The stream has fallen completely silent. The meadow holds its breath. The stars watch without blinking. The village sleeps beyond all hearing. Fires cold to gray ash. Sleepers wrapped in heavy wool. Dreams drifting as slowly as the night air itself. The whole of 1348 rests in this same profound hush. Field and forest, roof and river, sky and soil, all aligned in one vast, unbroken stillness. Another breath arrives. Fainter still, longer still, softer still. The pause opens wide enough to hold the entire night within it. Warmth stirs once at the very center, the gentlest possible pulse, then settles back into quiet. The darkness deepens another degree, not heavier, only more complete, more welcoming. And so the deepest night of 1348 continues. Breath after slower breath, silence after deeper silence, enfolding you completely, guiding you with the tenderest, most patient touch into rest so profound that even the memory of wakefulness has dissolved, leaving only this calm, this quiet, this perfect endless now. The night has entered its longest, quietest stretch, the time when hours seem to fold into one another without boundary. Beneath the oak, the darkness is so deep and even it feels like floating in, still. Cool water, weightless, boundless, perfectly supported. No trace of moonlight lingers anywhere. The crescent has long vanished below the horizon, leaving only the faintest possible dusting of starlight high overhead, too distant and pale to outline even the nearest branches. The meadow, the stream, the tree itself, all have merged into the same soft, unbroken black. Your form has dissolved almost completely into the landscape. What remains of separation? skin against wool, back against bark, hands against root, has softened to nothing more than gentle pressure points, each one so faint it registers only as the most distant awareness. The leaf litter cradles every contour. The earth has shaped itself upward in perfect response, holding without holding. The heavy cloak lies across you like another layer of night. Damp, cool on the surface, yet trapping a steady, low warmth at your center that pulses once every long while, faint and slow, then settles back into quiet. Breathing has become the barest suggestion of life. Inhale arrives after what might be an eternity of stillness. Tiny, shallow, almost not there at all, a mere whisper of cool air slipping past parted lips into lungs that expand by the smallest possible degree. The pause that follows opens so wide it swallows time itself. 30 heartbeats, 40, more, until the distinction between holding and releasing blurs entirely. Exhale, when it finally drifts out, is even fainter. Warm air leaving without force, without sound, without mist, simply merging back into the darkness as though it had never been apart from it. The entire cycle has stretched so thin that it feels less like breathing and more like the slow rise and fall of the night breathing through you. Behind closed eyelids there is only black, pure, seamless, without depth or edge. No images rise anymore, no memories flicker. The mind has grown vast and empty in the gentlest sense. Space without content, silence without echo, calm without center. Whatever once moved through thought has thinned to vapor, then to nothing at all, leaving only this open, peaceful void that asks for nothing and gives everything. The chill of the deepest hour touches every surface. Forehead smooth and cool, cheeks soft with dew, fingertips resting open and still. Yet the sensation carries no discomfort, only invitation. It encourages the body to sink even further inward, to let every outer layer grow perfectly heavy and forgotten, while the core warmth rests like the last ember beneath layers of ash, steady, silent, sufficient. No muscle twitches, no joint holds tension. Fingers lie slack and uncurled. Jaw rests so completely loose it feels weightless. Shoulders have melted downward long ago. The entire form exists now only as gentle pressure against the earth, against the tree, against the night itself. The oak continues its ancient, soundless rhythm. Expansion so slight it cannot be measured. Contraction so slow it cannot be felt. Yet you sense it as your own pulse, stretched across time. Low, eternal, shared. The meadow holds its dew in perfect stillness. The stream lies dark and unmoving. The stars remain fixed in their quiet watch, offering light so faint it exists more as memory than illumination. No sound reaches anywhere, no breath of wind, no stir of leaf or grass. The village beyond the rise sleeps in the same absolute hush. Fires long cold, blankets heavy, sleepers lost in dreams as slow and deep as this night itself. All of 1348 rests together. Soil and sky, root and roof, water and wool, aligned in one vast wordless peace. Another breath comes, if it can still be called a breath, fainter than the last, longer than possible, softer than silence. The pause opens endlessly. Warmth stirs once, the gentlest flicker at the very center, then fades back into stillness. The darkness deepens. Not darker, only more complete, more welcoming, more home. And the endless night of 1348 continues. Breath after fainter breath, silence after deeper silence, enfolding you entirely, guiding you with the softest, most patient touch into rest so profound that even the boundary between you and the quiet has dissolved, leaving only calm, only now, only this gentle, perfect nothing. The night has become timeless now. Hours and minutes long since dissolved into one continuous hush. Beneath the oak, the darkness is so full and gentle it feels like being held. Inside the quietest dream, cool, vast, without beginning or end. No starlight reaches this deep hollow any more. The faint scatter above has faded behind thin, high clouds that arrived without notice, sealing the sky in perfect, soft black. The meadow, the stream, the branches overhead, all have vanished into the same enveloping nothing, leaving only sensation. The slow pressure of earth beneath, the faint, cool dampness of wool against skin, the steady, ancient presence of the tree at your back. Your form exists now only as the gentlest outline of warmth within the larger stillness. The leaf litter has settled so completely. Around you it feels like part of your own body, soft, layered, yielding exactly where it must. The heavy cloak clings with the night's moisture, cool on the surface yet trapping that low, persistent core heat that no longer needs to pulse. It simply rests, quiet and sufficient, like a candle flame protected beneath thick glass. Every small place of contact, shoulders against bark, palms along roots, spine following the trunk's curve, has blurred into one continuous, effortless support. Nothing presses, nothing resists. Everything simply is. Breathing has become the faintest possible movement. Inhale arrives after what might once have been called a long time. Tiny, shallow, almost imaginary, a mere stirring of cool air that barely disturbs the lungs. The pause opens so wide it swallows everything. No counting heartbeats, no measuring duration, only vast, peaceful suspension. Exhale drifts out, if it can still be called an exhale, warmer, softer, slower than silence itself, merging instantly with the darkness without leaving any trace. The cycle has stretched beyond rhythm into something closer to stillness itself, a single, endless breath that the night breathes through you, for you, with you. Behind closed eyelids, the black is absolute, seamless, borderless, without depth or light. No wisps rise, no fragments drift. The mind has become pure space, empty in the kindest way, calm without center, silent without echo. Whatever once floated through awareness has long since evaporated, leaving only this open, welcoming void where nothing is asked and nothing is needed. The chill touches every surface, forehead, cheeks, the curve of each ear, the tips of fingers resting slack and open. Yet it carries no edge, no discomfort, only invitation to sink deeper still. The body responds without will. Outer layers grow heavier, more distant, perfectly forgotten while the core warmth holds steady, low, eternal. No muscle remembers tension. No joint knows resistance. Jaw rests so loose it feels weightless. Shoulders have melted entirely. Hands lie motionless, palms upward, receiving nothing. The entire presence has softened into one gentle impression against the earth. The tree, the night. The oak continues its wordless pulse, expansion and contraction, so slow they merge into permanence. You feel it not as something outside, but as your own deepest rhythm stretched across ages. Low, unchanging, shared. The meadow sleeps beneath its dew. The stream lies dark and still. The village beyond every horizon rests in the same unbroken hush. Embers, cold, blankets heavy, sleepers lost in dreams slower than this night itself. All of 1348 has entered this same profound quiet. Root and star, wool and water, soil and sky. One vast, seamless peace. Another breath, if breath it still is, arrives fainter than the memory of sound. The pause opens forever. Warmth rests without stirring. The darkness deepens. Not heavier, only more complete. More home, more whole. And the timeless night of 1348 continues. Silence after deeper silence. Stillness after perfect stillness. Enfolding you entirely. Holding you with the softest, most patient embrace into rest, so complete that even the whisper of drifting has faded away, leaving only this calm, only this quiet, only this gentle, endless now. The night has become so deep and still that even the concept of time feels distant, unnecessary. Beneath the oak there is only this gentle, unbroken darkness, cool, soft, infinite in every direction. The high clouds remain motionless overhead, sealing away the last faint stars, leaving nothing above but perfect, velvety black. No outline remains of branch or blade. No distinction exists between tree and meadow and sky. Everything has merged into one seamless, quiet whole, and you rest at its calm center. Your presence has softened beyond all measure. What was once a body resting against roots and bark has become simply warmth held. Within warmth, low, steady, untroubled. The leaf litter cradles without shape. The heavy wool cloak lies across you like another layer of the night itself. Cool and damp, yet preserving that single, quiet ember of heat deep inside. No part of you needs to move, to adjust, to hold. Shoulders, arms, hands, legs, all have released so completely they no longer register as separate. Only the faintest impression lingers. The gentle curve of earth beneath, the ancient steadiness of the oak behind, the soft weight of darkness above. Breathing exists now only as the most distant echo of itself. Inhale, if it still arrives, comes after endless stillness, a mere stirring so faint it barely touches the surface of awareness. The lungs expand by the smallest possible fraction. Then hold. The pause opens forever. No beginning, no end, only vast. Peaceful suspension where nothing needs to happen next. Exhale, when it drifts outward at all, is warmer, softer, quieter than the quietest silence. Slipping away without mist, without sound, without any sense of departure. The entire motion has become so slow, so thin, it feels less like breathing and more like the night itself rising and falling through the space where you rest. Behind closed eyelids, the black is complete. Without texture, without boundary, without memory. No images form, no thoughts drift. The mind has opened into pure, empty calm. Space without content. Silence without shadow. Peace without edge. Whatever once moved within it has long since faded to nothing, leaving only this gentle vastness that welcomes everything and requires nothing. The chill of the deepest night touches every surface it can reach, forehead smooth, cheeks soft, fingertips still and open. Yet it carries no sharpness, no unease. It simply invites deeper surrender. Outer layers growing heavier, more distant, perfectly forgotten while the core warmth rests without stirring, low and eternal, like the last glow beneath layers of soft ash. No muscle remembers how to tense, no joint knows how to hold. Jaw rests weightless, hands lie slack, palms upward, empty. the whole of you has become one gentle impression held by the earth, by the tree, by the endless night. The oak continues its silent, timeless rhythm, expansion, and contraction so gradual they have become permanence itself. You share it without separation, your own deepest pulse stretched across centuries, low and unchanging and shared. The meadow sleeps beneath its dew. The stream lies dark and motionless. The village beyond every possible horizon rests in the same absolute hush. Embers long cold, blankets drawn high, sleepers lost in dreams slower than silence itself. All of 1348 exists now in this one vast, wordless quiet. Root and star, wool and water, soil and sky, one seamless, perfect peace. Another breath, if the word still applies, arrives fainter than forgetting. The pause opens without limit. Warmth rests without pulse. The darkness deepens. Not darker, only more whole, more home, more complete. And the endless night of 1348 continues. Stillness after deeper stillness, silence after perfect silence, holding you entirely, cradling you with the softest, most patient embrace into rest, so absolute that even the faintest trace of separation has dissolved, leaving only this calm, only this quiet, only this gentle, boundless now. The night has grown so vast and quiet that even the memory of sound feels far away, unnecessary. Beneath the oak there remains only this gentle, complete darkness, cool, soft, without surface or limit. The high clouds hold steady, thick and motionless, sealing every last trace of starlight, until nothing above can be distinguished from the nothing below. Meadow, stream, branches, roots, all have long since faded into the same seamless hush, leaving only the faintest sense of being held. By earth that yields perfectly, by wool that rests cool and heavy, by the oak that stands without end. What was once a form has softened beyond outline. Warmth exists now only as the quietest glow at the deepest center. Low, steady, self-contained, needing no movement to sustain itself. The leaf litter has become an extension of rest itself, layered and forgiving, cradling without shape or effort. The cloak lies across like the night made tangible, damp, still, preserving that single, silent ember within. No part reaches outward, no part pulls inward. Everything has settled into one continuous, effortless presence. Held, supported, dissolved into calm. Breathing, if the word can still apply, has become the barest ripple across an endless stillness. Inhale arrives after what might once have been forever. Tiny, faint, almost imagined, a mere whisper of cool air that touches nothing and changes nothing. The pause opens without boundary. No measure, no edge, only pure, peaceful suspension where time has no place. Exhale drifts, if it drifts at all, warmer, softer, quieter than absence itself, slipping away without trace, without farewell, merging so completely that no distinction remains between holding and releasing. Behind closed eyelids the black is whole, without depth, without flicker, without anything at all. No space for images, no room for echoes. The mind rests open and empty in the kindest possible way. Vast without vastness, silent without silence, calm without calm. All that once moved through it has vanished so gently it leaves no absence to notice. The chill touches what it touches. Forehead, cheeks, open palms, yet registers only as the softest coolness, an invitation to let go even further. Outer layers have grown perfectly heavy, perfectly distant, perfectly forgotten. The core warmth simply is low, unchanging, eternal, like the last glow beneath infinite ash, needing no air, no fuel, no tending. No muscle knows tension. No joint remembers form. Jaw rests weightless. Hands lie slack, empty, still. The entire being has become one gentle impression. Against earth, against tree, against night, against nothing at all. The oak endures in its wordless permanence, expansion and contraction so slow they are no longer separate, acts but one continuous state. You share it without separation. Your own deepest rhythm stretched beyond time. Low and shared and whole, the meadow holds its dew in perfect quiet. The stream lies dark and unmoving. The village sleeps beyond every horizon in the same unbroken peace. Embers cold to nothing, blankets heavy, sleepers lost in rest deeper than dreams. All of 1348 rests as one. Soil and sky, root and wool, water and silence, fused into seamless, perfect hush. Another breath, if breath still exists, arrives fainter than forgetting. The pause opens without end. Warmth rests without stirring. The darkness holds. Not darker, only more complete, more whole, more home. And the boundless night of 1348 continues. Stillness after endless. Stillness. Silence after perfect silence. Cradling you entirely, holding you with the gentlest, most patient touch into rest so absolute that even the faintest whisper of boundary has melted away, leaving only this calm, only this quiet, only this gentle, timeless now. The night has become everything now, soft, endless, without seam or surface. Beneath the oak, there is no longer any distinction between ground and body, between bark and breath, between darkness and rest. All has folded into one gentle, complete quiet. The high clouds remain motionless. The meadow sleeps without stirring. The stream has stilled so perfectly it holds no reflection at all. The oak stands as it has always stood, silent, patient, eternal, its slow pulse no longer separate from the slow pulse that once moved through you. Warmth lingers only as the faintest memory of warmth. Low, steady, self-sustaining, needing nothing more. The heavy wool cloak has become part of the night air itself. Cool, damp, weightless yet comforting. Leaf litter cradles without shape or effort. Every trace of outline has softened away. Shoulders, hands, spine, limbs, all have released so completely they no longer ask to be noticed. Only the quietest impression remains, held by earth, held by tree, held by darkness, held by nothing at all. Breathing, if the word still has meaning, has drifted into perfect stillness. No inhale arrives, no exhale departs. The pause has opened so wide, it has become the whole of existence. Vast, peaceful, without boundary or need. The lungs rest open, the chest rests still. The entire rhythm has merged with the night's own slow, soundless tide, rising without rising, falling without falling, simply being. Behind closed eyelids, the black is whole and final, without depth to fall through, without edge to reach. No space opens for thought. No room exists for memory. The mind rests empty in the gentlest possible way. Silent without needing silence. Calm without needing calm. Present without needing presence. The chill has become nothing more than coolness without temperature. Touching what it touches, yet asking nothing in return. Outer layers have long since faded from awareness. The core glow rests without flickering, low, unchanging, complete. No muscle knows itself. No joint remembers form. Jaw rests weightless. Hands lie open, empty, forgotten. All has become one gentle dissolution into the quiet that surrounds and fills and is. The oak endures in wordless permanence. The meadow holds its dew in perfect hush. The village sleeps beyond every horizon in the same unbroken peace. Embers cold to ash, blankets heavy, sleepers lost in rest deeper than names. All of 1348 rests as one. Soil and sky, root and wool, water and silence, fused into seamless, timeless quiet. No breath follows. No pause closes. Warmth simply is. Darkness simply holds. And the night of 1348 continues. Stillness without measure. Silence without end. Cradling everything. Holding everything. Becoming everything. In the gentle, perfect, boundless now.